Hey, look at this, my friends. This is probably the most, or this is definitely the most involved carving I have done to date. Yeah, this is the Whet Owl. It's about this size, believe it or not. They're tiny, and it's quite involved. All right, but I'm very proud of it. It's I carved it out of basswood. And the backdrop here is koa. It's a tree from Hawaii. So I'm going to go into this in more detail. I'm going to give you a little bit of how this is done. It's not like I just took a little knife out and started whittling away. So this is part one of a three-part series of carving the Whet Owl. Okay? Take a good look. I'm going to show you the picture, and then I'm going to show you how I did it step by step. Talk to you in a bit. First thing I did, I drew the owl on the block of wood. Very important. You gotta draw it. You don't have to be a great drawer, but you got to draw it on there so you know where to take the wood away. So here's an example of just starting out on the wood. All right. Now you can see, all right, I drew it on all the sides. I'm going to show you each side here so you can take a look. All right, I had to draw it on the side so I have some idea where I'm going, because if I take too much off on one end, it's too late, it's gone. This was done on a block of basswood. All right, so in a screw, the first thing you do is you draw all the sides, and you can see I started to shave off a little bit. And then step two, I just showed you. Step three, I'm showing you another picture here. All right, it is showing you another side. Being very careful to where to shave off, where to cut off. You see on the sides there, I didn't draw as much detail on the other sides as I did on the, it's not really the front, it's the side the owl has its head turned sideways. All right, so, but at least I wanted to make the outline of where it was. I'll draw in more details later. All right, my friend, look at this right here. Okay, we have step four here. This is where I drew all the sides, the back. I'm using a knife. I use a sandpaper, and I use a rasp. Right? I'll show you pictures of all those later. Right? But that is how I use it. I did not use a Dremel. I often have done that, but not in this project. And sometimes I've used a Fordham, which is a little more powerful tool that a lot of carvers like to use. And I have used it. I like it too. But in this project, I decided to go just hand carving. All right, the next step, same kind of thing. It's very slow. I have to do a little bit of carving. I use the sandpaper. I use the rasp, whatever I can use at the time. And I'm just taking away a little bit at a time. Not too much, because you can't put the wood back on. Now, there's a little trick to that sometimes. Things happen. But for right now, you have to be very careful. You can take more off, but putting sawdust back on, it doesn't work too well, no. Right, now the next step is very important. Before I start the project, I want to do an owl. I want to do the bluebird. I want to do a hummingbird. I get all the pictures I can. I look up on the internet. I look at videos. I look at everything. And I draw them. I'm not a great drawer, but I like to draw them. It gives me a sense of what I'm doing. I draw it on paper. I draw it on the wood, whatever, but I get the pictures of it. And you can see next, I also bought a model. Okay, you can see this is actually to scale of this bird. Now what you saw and what I finished product is pretty much the size of the bird. Some are a little smaller, but they're not going to be much bigger than that, if at all. But that's the size. But I need that model because these models show every little feather, everything, all the details. I try to pay attention to all of that. I also do this. Jerry Simchuk has a really nice set of books where it goes step by step. I follow it pretty much. Sometimes I do something out of order because I just feel I need to take care of this at this moment. But it does give you a good step by step and how to mix the paints and all. That's another project I'm not going to talk about on this one. But It is something, you get really good pictures. He tells you a lot about the bird, and then he shows you how he did it step by step. In his book, he used the power tool to for them. I did not do that on this project. As I said, I used just hand tools. But get all the information before you get started. It's important. There's a lot of details. Next picture you see, I'm just a little bit more further along. I'm going around the different sides, the different edges, but I'm not taking too much away yet. Not in this segment. You're getting the basic outline. I'm starting to just get the corners off. As I said, it's a tedious job. Some of it with the knife you're shaving, some with the rasp, sandpaper. I use all three of those. All right, take a look at this picture. There's a little tool, I'll put it right on top of the bird as I'm using it to smooth it out. You can kind of see I rounded off the head. That's a nice little handle. You can get it at the hardware store. That's a pretty rough paper. You can put any grain you want. But at this point, I'm just taking lots off at a time. But it does still allow me smoothness, and I can hold it better than just trying to hold the sandpaper and fold it. I do that later too. I need to do it that way. But this is a handy little tool for sandpaper. All right, here's the back of the owl. All right, now it may look like the side, but it's not. It's the back. Because remember, the owl turns his head, or she, I don't know whether it's a girl or a boy, but it turns the head, and so this is what might look like the back is the side, and what looks like the side is the front and the back. All right? It's you can see I'm taking away more wood, but I'm still just going around the edges. I'm not going into the details yet. All right, and here you go. You can see I'm starting to dig out the eye. Now, so if you use a power tool, you'll drill it out. I cut that with a knife bit by bit. That's just the beginning. You're going to see I have a lot more to do, but this is just a start to show you what to expect in the next segment, the next video. This is part 1, and this is the end of part 1. You can watch. I'm going to have a little music playing, and I'm going to show all these pictures again. Or you can just turn it off and check it out later, or just wait for the next video. I'm going to give you a step-by-step of how I did this artwork. Thank you, and see you later.